whether or not people are original, thoughts are original, even if the people aren't echoes of those who've existed before. The actions and the causes and effects of those actions are, right? We've seen what happens if we do X. We know it causes Y and Z, right? We've done this before. Maybe not exactly, but we've seen it happen. If you have the choice to echo choices and actions that have been done in the past, why not echo choices and actions that have been beneficial, good, and positive?
Welcome to the No Streetlights podcast. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Tim. We're veterans, here to talk about mental health, resilience, and the real struggles we face every day.
Our goal is to foster kindness through understanding. So, let's take a breath, relax, and be welcome.
First of all, happy recording day. This
Happy
is
recording day.
a little bit of a different day for us because we are
Recording on a Monday for release
this
immediately.
Friday. Yeah.
Or Wednesday if you're on Patreon.
Yeah, or Wednesday, yeah.
Which
So
I hope you are.
very fast turnaround we're doing on this.
Because you need it.
You do need it.
This is a message you need to hear.
It's important. I was talking with my cousin yesterday, and he pointed out something that was really interesting to me. He mentioned that something about some work that needed done in his house and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, I was like, just let me know whenever you need me, if you need some help. Maybe my buddy Aaron can come out and help as well. I was like, because it's work that needs to be done.
And that's what we do.
Later, maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes later, he mentioned something else. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go take care of that real quick because it's work that needs to be done. And he goes, Tim, I miss that mentality, man. He's like, I miss hearing people just say, it's work, it has to be done, I'm just gonna go do it.
That's the core of the message today. So thank you for providing that beautiful intro. Without a script, there have been so many times that people freak out whenever I stop my car, put the hazards on, and pick up litter. Because I detest litter. If there's trash on the ground, I'm gonna pick it up because that's what you do with litter. And it's simple things like this to more complex things like us helping stand up PHAC, have emergency warming shelters, so that we don't lose another human being this winter like we did last winter. The core message here, you are enough. There's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken, and if you're an adult, 30 years old or so, you've been a human being for 5 years with a fully developed brain. This is something I'm going to bring back. Adolescence is from when you're born, adolescence? Your childhood is from when you're born till you hit puberty. Then adolescence is puberty to like 25, when your brain develops. And then from 25, that's when you start being an adult. So as a 32-year-old, I'm a level 7 human. I've been a grown-ass man for 7 years. And any of our fellow nerds who have played D&D and stuff know around level 5 is where you start really getting to play the game.
Yeah.
And then level 6, level 7, you get some cool feats and abilities. You can specialize or multi-class and actually be an effective player character.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you to wake up.
This kind of message floats around a lot on the internet, though. You see the classic memes of Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC until he was 57 or 67 or whatever, right? You see these things all the time. So-and-so didn't make it big until they were well into their 50s or 60s. So one thing that I've been grappling with a lot lately, and I think it's important to discuss here since we're talking about be the change and do it, is 3 years is going to pass. What are you doing during that time? I was at Kung Fu the other day with Aaron. I've begun my adventure as a white belt, and it is very difficult, but I'm going to be having fun. I was standing there and I was like, man, this sucks. I was like, I'm sweating. My knees are hurting. My legs are killing me. I was like, I could be at home right now on my couch. Well, figuratively speaking, my couch isn't here yet. And I thought to myself, Aaron mentioned that being a black belt in Kung Fu can take approximately 4-ish years. So I asked myself, If 4 years were to pass from right now and I didn't do Kung Fu again, I wouldn't be a black belt for sure. But what would I be? I didn't have an answer. So I said, well, I could be a black belt. It's a thing I can do.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now, and I know 4 years is going to pass.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% what else I can be and or do in those 4 years. But in that moment, I knew within 4 years, well, I could be a black belt.
Yeah.
And something about that felt very relieving. It felt motivational. Like I wanted to get in there and be like, man, I can do this.
I can start now.
Dude, 4 years?
4 years is like one period of time.
4 years is a huge amount of growth. And we're talking about what are you going to do for your next 4 years?
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up people not quote unquote doing it or making it until 40s, 50s, 60s, because this is partially your fault, how big of a nerd I am.
That's cool.
But level 20, that's whenever you hit like epic levels or heroic tiers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you need to go from 25 to 45, mastering something. And then at 45, you're like, all right, I've kind of figured out this one thing. Now I'm going to move on to my dream. And so I want people to really look at their life and think about intentionally moving into seasons for growth and for regeneration and for healing and for selfishness and selflessness so that they can make the build they want. They can become the player character they want. You can absolutely put 10 levels into fighter and then decide you don't want to be a fighter anymore.
Go to monk.
And here's the thing, you're not going to lose your prior levels. You should carry the knowledge from yesterday with you today and the knowledge from today into tomorrow. And if you master something by doing it every single day and then you move on to something else, you're going to be looking at it with wiser eyes. And that's why I'm trying to wake people up.
Grab my lotion, put a little makeup.
Put the lotion on the skin. Because nothing worth having comes easy. And if you're showing up every day, you're going to be able to maneuver your ship more deftly, as it were. So thank you for bringing up, sometimes it takes 20 or 30 or 40 years to even find a direction.
Huge shout out to our friend of the channel, the show, Alexa Bremer. She recently just posted some selfies where she's talking about her new season. And I was very excited for her, and I'm really glad she's enjoying where she is right now. But I love that idea because you can really work around that and allow yourself the space you need. We call it compartmentalizing. You can call it seasons. You can call it whatever you want. But it's like when you're faced with these moments where you need to make a decision or you need to take some time for yourself or whatever, do it. You're allowed to do that. You need to do that. It's part of being a human being. In a world where we are so overstimulated 2,000% every second of the day, you need time to sit down and tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm allowed to do that.
And don't get lost in a season. Not everyone loves winter the way I love winter. Not everyone loves fall the way Tim loves fall. So just because you're moving into winter, if you don't like winter and you know this is going to be a low period for you, take the care of yourself that you need to. Again, a question Melissa Height asked me that changed the trajectory of my relationship with myself. She asked me if I was taking loving care of myself whenever I was going through a very difficult period, or if I was taking loving care of myself. And I replied, I'm taking adequate care of myself. She was like, why the hell would you take adequate care of yourself? You should take loving care of yourself.
I'm taking care of I give myself saltine crackers every 24 hours.
Once a day, a sleeve of saltines and some peanut butter, dog, I'm good. But you cannot get lost in any of the seasons. You can't get lost in spring, because if we were in constant growth, we would deteriorate. And we would never enjoy our summer. After our season of flourishing, we have to enjoy summer. And then things are going to fall apart. Everything that comes into being passes away. Then we have winter, the dark night of the soul, when it's cold and you have to grit. The wind hurts your face sometimes. And you can't always make it to work on time because the hills are frozen. Each one of these seasons has a different purpose. We can't hate them and we can't become too attached because it will pass. So if you are feeling constrained by a past that has suffocated you, you have permission right now to let it go. You have permission later to let it go. If you let go of it earlier, that's okay too. I'm just here to ask you to let it fucking go so we can move forward. Because if you wake up and look around, there are no more fucking trees to climb.
What a sad day, man.
That's insane.
What a sad day.
When's the last time you saw children racing bikes down the street? Make that happen.
I saw kids like running the other day, like just running, like track or whatever,
So
right?
you're like,
I was like getting
okay?
ready to fight. No, but I was surprised. I was like, oh, hey, holy crap. I didn't know kids actually still went out and ran unless it was like mandated at the school gymnasium or something. Like, so cool. Good on you guys. But bikes, not very often, man.
Trees. Put trees back. If you live in an area with other human beings, you should plant trees that have food on them. I think it's absolutely insane that in no city park that I've been to they had like fruit trees, like apple trees, pear trees, for the people who live there to eat.
Grab and Do you think that's the liability problem?
I think it is a capitalism problem.
One thing that's really been keeping me going and reigniting this fire has been this concept of like, what's the difference between you and Hobo Johnson, as an example?
About 6 inches, 15 pounds.
Breaking it down, realistically speaking, if you wanted to be like Hobo Johnson when you were younger or whatever, you're a podcaster now, so music obviously wasn't what you wanted to get into. But let's say it was when you were younger. The only real difference between you and Hobo Johnson is he just kept doing it every day.
Another critical thing that grandmother taught me. And I'm not talking about my maternal or paternal grandmothers. I'm talking about my woo-woo folks. You know who grandmother is. You are still your 10-year-old self. The 12-year-old Tim I met has not stopped existing. There are just 20 more years of Tim stacked on top of him. So, whatever brought you joy in your childhood, you should still be pursuing. Whatever healing you needed at 10 and 12 and 15, you still need that healing. So every moment, whenever someone says something and my 10-year-old self has a reaction to it, I get to take a breath and say, it's okay, Aaron, I'm here. It's going to be okay. We've made it through this before. This is nothing. You're made for this because we are built for storms. The human body is very resilient, and if you don't believe me, I'll see you Saturday at 71 Rosemar Road in Parkersburg for sparring. You don't have to be whole to be capable of getting in the fight. No matter what you're proficient at or not proficient at, we need you in this fight with us. We need you to help and heal the 10-year-old in you and the 10-year-old friend in Tim. You have to see those around you not only as their grown-up adult tax-paying selves, but as their wounded 10-year-old selves. So as you move through all seasons, take care for all persons. Take care for all beings that are contained within you or that are around you. Whenever I see a grown-up act like a child, I understand because they must have had a difficult childhood. And now that 10-year-old is freaking out. And that's okay. Because whenever a child freaks out near me, I comfort them. I let them know that it's safe. And then later, I might let them know that they're an asshole. Hey man, I get that you were having a difficult time, but next time, maybe we talk at this level. Maybe we don't yell. And of course, you're not a pacifist if you aren't capable of committing violence. You are harmless. And I am a pacifist. If someone needs a second to think, I can give them a second to think. But again, we have to do that with love. I can't smash someone into agreeing with me. My next question, this is going to feel rhetorical, but it's fucking not. What are you doing every day? Honestly, what are you doing every day? That's what you're going to be a master of. If you're stressed out every day, man, you're going to be a master of being stressed the fuck out.
Dude, I'm a master of anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that.
I can become the best person at depression so quick. Dude,
It's
I'm
easy.
so good at it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Master of it. The question, what are you doing every day? If the answer to your question is nothing, how do you change that? How do you become a master of something else?
You have to pick. Analysis paralysis sure is a pain, but pain inspires growth. Fire's the first teacher. The way of the phoenix is the way. You have to try. You have to burn yourself down in order to have a good root, and then you can blossom forth again. So look at what you're doing. Make a list. Make a literal list throughout your day of what am I doing? And then what do I want to add? What would I rather be doing? Because I can't tell you what you should be doing. You're the only person who knows that. I'm going to share the greatest lesson my grandfather ever taught me. He told me everything he needed that I would ever need to know. And it went like this.
So what was your lesson?
That's what most people need to hear. You have the answer to what you need to be doing. If the trash on the side of the road offends you, you know that you should stop and pick it up. If you're like Anthony Too Kind Waits and you want to teach kids striking, grappling, cardiovascular endurance, to give them the power and autonomy and purpose and drive, that's what you should just be doing. He reached out to me the other day and asked for advice, and I said, let me ask people who know more than me. So Master Jason, Sifu Turan, Sifu whoever, feel free to reach out to me or Anthony Too Kind Waits.
Can always use some assistance.
Help him.
Yeah, be a great time.
And just be the change. Whatever needs to happen, you're the one who knows it needs to happen. So you're the one who can change it.
I feel like a lot of the times when people hear stuff like this, they hear it and they do the opposite. They don't find the motivation to be the change. They say, dude, stop preaching at me. Why are you lecturing this kind of stuff to me? Like, I understand that. It makes sense why people put up those barriers and those walls. They hear these things, they find that confrontation, and they find themselves faced with something that they now have to, essentially, you said it, burn down so it can allow to be rebuilt. People are scared of fire, dude.
I know.
People don't want to just burn stuff. People want to hear, they want to hear how great they're doing, and they don't want to analyze too deep below that. Because the further below the surface they get, the deeper down into that iceberg, the harder it is. The more self-reflection and introspection you're doing, the more difficult these things become, because being the change and being the person who stops their car in the middle of the highway to pick up litter.
Not the highway,
But being the person who stops their car to pick up litter, that's not an overnight change for a lot of people.
No.
Because they see litter dry. I've done this. I see litter in the middle of the road and I say, that should not be there. And I keep going. I have realized the first part of it. I haven't realized the second part where I need to stop and move that. I haven't reached that second point yet. And a lot of people haven't. A lot of people haven't reached that first point. A lot of people don't care.
A lot of people don't see the trash.
They don't care because they're at a point right now where they're like, dude,
I'm being strangled by inflation.
Look, rent is due tomorrow, dog. Do you think I care about this trash in the middle of the road? Be the change? Be what change?
Give
I don't
me change.
have change.
Yeah,
dog.
no one does.
Like,
That's why you have to be the gas station change.
Yeah, motivation, these kind of things are very difficult. And it doesn't always have to be these grand, massive steps and changes in your life. Sometimes it can be something small. Picking up journaling could be a massive positive change in your life. And you could just start doing it because notebooks are dirt cheap. I found a notebook that's probably like 20 years old just sitting in my room.
I've been given so many journals over the years.
I can take that and just start writing it. I can start journaling.
And
I can be the change. I can just do it.
Yes. And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be as disgustingly structured as our forebearers taught us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to journal at night after everything has happened and
by
log
candlelight,
everything that you did.
Dear diary.
I'm writing right now during this conversation. You can do that. You can write throughout your day. I would highly recommend it. Tim asked me to perform an exercise I talked about 100 episodes ago of the anger iceberg, I'm angry because this happened because that, C because D because E. But I would rather just have him experience it for himself because I've told you how to do it. And my next message that you awoke in me, we're both going to get heated. We're both going to steam. This episode and many like it are brought to you by Dr. Ben Green, TCM of At Ready Acu, LLC.
Dr. Ben Green combines traditional Chinese medicine, movement therapy, and lifestyle support to help you get back to feeling like yourself. No gimmicks, just results.
And right now, you're going to get 50% off your first consultation. And right now, you can get 50% off your first online consultation when you use the code READY50 at checkout. And this includes 2 free follow-ups. That's over $100 value for those follow-ups for free.
All you have to do is go to atreadyllc.com, click book now, and use code READY50 at checkout.
You're going to end up paying $79.50 for 3 consultations with Dr. Ben Green, a traditional Chinese medicine doctor who has incredible life experience and is going to facilitate you getting back to feeling like yourself.
Want to feel and move better? Dr. Ben Green can help.
Okay. Something we're told in the military, I'm not sure if you ever caught this. Be a filter, don't be a pump. Now we're getting into our conversation that we had where real friends are going to challenge you. They're going to shoot your plan full of holes so that you can patch it and come back with a better plan. So I need everyone around us, everyone listening, to become a filter instead of a pump. If something comes in, like someone tells you something or blah, 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 something happens, you get to decide if you move forward with that or if you leave it. Whenever a thought comes at you, you don't have to become the thought. You can go, interesting. That makes sense. And then move along. I had a big response to something the other day. I can't even remember what it was. But then I thought, no, it makes sense that would trigger me. I had a difficult time growing up, or I had a difficult time with this or with that. Whenever people are being difficult, I understand that that's them having a difficult time, but as a real friend to everyone, because I'm dangerous, I'm here to challenge everyone. If you're acting wonky, I'm going to be like, hey, Tim, it looks like you're having a difficult time. We should talk about this because the karma you're generating is bad karma and you will regret this action. So stop being a pump and just letting everything happen and perpetuating what's coming into being. One of the scripts that we looked at recently was about predeterminism.
Yeah.
Do you really make any decisions? Start making decisions. Wake up. How many times do I have to say it, dog? Make a decision. Should you stop? Should you go?
I've been exploring the concept of the originality of thought, like how original is thought, and to a certain degree, how original are even people at this point.
Jeremy Wells, come tell us about AI, the computer mind.
I've really been getting into this idea of digging into the concept of originality. And like, is there such a thing as an original thought, or is everything that exists just derivative of something else, right? And
you're such a good Buddhist.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. And as I'm sitting there going through the script and writing it, I get to the very end of it and I was like, oh, I just wrote out what an ego death was.
The man who's terrified of death finally understands it a little bit.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, so interesting. But what my point of bringing this up is that talking about the concept of originality and whether or not people are original, thoughts are original, even if the people aren't echoes of those who have existed before, the actions and the causes and effects of those actions are, right? We've seen what happens if we do X. We know it causes Y and Z, right? We've done this before. Maybe not exactly, but we've seen it happen. If you have the choice to echo choices and actions that have been done in the past, why not echo choices and actions that have been beneficial and good and positive? If you know, if you've seen or you've heard of somebody setting up a soup kitchen overnight to feed the homeless because they're starving and it's cold, or you've heard stories of people doing stuff like that, you can do that too.
We're all made of the same stuff.
Read into how they did it. Somebody else has done it. You can do it too. Just do it, man.
Yes.
Choose who to echo. That's all I think is what I wanted to say there.
That brings up a great point of learning from the good teachers and the bad. Because not every teacher you have is going to be a good teacher.
No.
A lot of the leaders I've had have sucked.
Most of them are bad.
And
well, most of them are bad leaders for you.
yeah, that's an important point. You do get to pick how you cast the people in your life, which is an incredible gift. Whenever I met my wife, I said, my wife. Whenever I met Tim, I was like, Tim. Whenever I met Stephanie, I was like, Stephanie, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Whenever I met my Sifu, I was like, I'm so sorry, Sifu, please. Please, ouch.
That's why Aaron lost his hair.
So sorry.
The first interaction, Aaron went bald.
So sorry. But we're the casting agent for the drama that is our life. You get to pick. You're the writer. Spend some time fucking writing, dog.
We live in a time where writing is so easy to not do.
I think in cursive.
You can literally just go to ChatGPT and not have to write anything for the rest of your life. Just prompt everything, right? Terrible decision. Don't do that.
The Butlerian Jihad is coming.
Yeah. What?
It's a Dune reference.
Oh.
6 degrees of separation. It's how far you are from any other person on the planet at any point in time.
There's a very interesting video I just saw on YouTube that was discussing how true that actually is.
Yes. One thing that kind of shooketh us in our episode with Fabian Gardiazabal is when I said, shatter the flask. And whenever I listen back, no one said those words in that order. That's what I picked up. That was the download I got. And I think the reason that shook a lot of people is they're trying to figure out how to dissolve the I, the ego. Because whenever I stop thinking about Aaron's best interest, I start doing things that are in everyone's best interest. And a lot of people are trying to figure out how to fucking get there. Because we've been raised to be selfish. Me, I have to take care of me. And then there was this whole selfless movement. But if you give everything away, then you don't have anything. So what's the reality is, if we let go, we stop thinking about, and we become we-oriented, us-oriented. Start using royal we. We should do this. We need to get this done. When you think about your life like that, then the community heals and grows. I've said this before, and this is a legitimate call to action. If you're a healing facilitator, please come to the Mid-Ohio Valley. Come to Parkersburg, Athens, Mineral Wells, Davis.
Whoville.
I don't care if you're down in Fayetteville and Davis, honestly. Appalachia's for healing. If you are in the business of healing, please come to Appalachia. Help us become the healing capital of the United States.
Circling back to my story at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, Aaron, you son of a bitch.
That's exactly what it felt like, right? This wall needs to be broken out of my house. Well, whenever we need to do the work, we will do the work.
Yeah.
Right? The we. the sense of community you talked about. I saw kids the other day playing football outside in the backyard, and they started tossing footballs at my cousin too, because it's a community. They knew him, right? They were playing and they're like, oh, hey, neighbor. And they threw a football at him. It's incredible how the concept of we and community and choosing your family and just doing it and all of these ideas we're bringing to the table for this episode, you know, they sound easy and yet they're not, because we're not doing them. So why aren't we? What's the purpose? Why aren't we doing it?
I would say we are. Today, date of recording, is the 13th of October.
October 13th, 11:21 in the morning.
We promised you guys an NSLP meetup for Halloween. If you want to meet us, tell us when, and we'll tell you where. This will happen if you want it to happen. I've had a bonfire at my house. We played Frisbee. People played music. It was phenomenal. It always is, because that's what I cultivate around me. So if you want to be part of our community, if you need to come out to Coolville, Ohio, near Athens, let me know.
It's a cool place to be.
It's Coolville.
It's cool.
And the next town down the road is Guysville.
Dude,
So
I
if
went to
we make
Guysville and they all knew your name.
If we all make a big enough community, we'll have Cool Guysville. I just finished the Udana, and I'm working through the Itivutaka. I don't know. Thank you for translating that, John Ireland. And the most recent suttas that I've been reading have been about the giving of alms food to the holy people. Any person who's able to dissolve the eye would not eat before giving away food if there was anyone who needed food. So we're meant to give. If people around you are hurting, you're meant to be a healing facilitator. We're meant to share. That's why joy shared is twice joy and burden shared is half burden. So what do you guys want to hear about for Halloween? You guys want to hear from our wives again? The Terror She Wrote gals? Do you want to hear Tim's 31 movies for October? What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear what scares us?
I've told everybody what scares me.
But now he's starting to understand.
Death.
Is it scarier or less scary? Now that you
Scarier.
understand. Oh, yeah, fair. I think what I would, if you're scared of death, you should totally listen to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, because it just, I've recommended this before, but it's a guidebook. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how you respond to it.
The way I look at it, and the way I explained it to you earlier, was the idea of to live is the pursuit of knowledge, right? I think the pursuit of knowledge is...
I say pursuit of being.
Pursuit of being, yeah, sure. But I mean, to be, you have to know.
I don't think you get to know until you've already been.
How do you grow crops? How do you get water?
Well, we
How
didn't
do you
have
give-
YouTube, so it was trial and error.
Right.
Wisdom comes from experience.
Simply, my simple point is like existence just simply comes down to knowing, right? And if there are things that can just simply never be known in your existence, those are the things that are the most deep-rooted fears that exist. I understand that books like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bible, the Abrahamic religions, everything that exists out there that talks about afterlives and what life is about, continuing on, karmic debts, repaying what you need to do, and rebirth and all that fun stuff, afterlives and all that stuff. But
Episode 77.
nobody knows until they experience it. Until you die, you will not know.
Yeah.
You can bear all your faith and true belief in anything you want. The moment you die, you will know. And that's when you finally learn, but you are no longer being. I mean, you might, I don't know. Depends on what religion you believe in, I guess. It depends on what actually happens. And that is when you will know. That's when you'll know the great secret, the greatest secret.
The secret is there are no secrets. I've already been initiated, Tim. I can tell you now.
It is the greatest secret because you don't know.
But you can let go of the need to know if you come into your full being.
Oh, 100%. You can.
Yeah.
I just simply think it's the deepest root of all fear is simply the fear of the unknown. And if it's something that you will never be able to know, then that is truthfully the biggest fear. And if you are able to let go of that fear, like you said, at the end of the day, you could still be scared of spiders, but it won't be as crippling.
Yeah, this was a very important point that Tommy G brought up in a video the other day. Looking at you, Tommy G McGee. The thing that you're not allowed to talk about with somebody you're interviewing is the thing you should really be fucking talking about.
Yeah.
He was interviewing Israeli influence on U.S. politics and government. And he was like, it's weird how whenever I'd ask to talk to these people, they'd be like, all right, only thing we can't talk about is Israel. Or if Israel gets brought up, they're like, yes, they're our greatest ally. Things may change, things might not. Things are, it's just the political cyclical. Yeah.
My favorite word.
So diving into this for your own life, what can you not talk about? What can't be brought up around you? What are your triggers and tender areas, and how do you heal that so that you can continue to be a human being in any situation? Mr. Chaz, our great friend who we bring up all the time because he's amazing, the first time he saw a child commit violence on a child, it's triggering. We don't like seeing children pushed down or smacked or whatever. But sometimes that's how they initiate play.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to find their bounds, and sometimes that's how kids like to play. We used to hit each other with sticks in elementary school.
We still do.
Worthington Elementary? Yeah.
We still do.
Yeah, we still do. Thank God for Kung Fu. So look for what you cannot talk about and see why that's a wound. Jesse, my brother who's in a Thai monastery right now, shared with me a story about an abbot or a preacher or something of that effect who, whenever something happened or someone like corrected one of the nuns that he was responsible for, he would have a sharp response. And Buddha had to, correct him and say, hey man, you have left the lay life to become a mendicant, a holy person. You've gone into the homeless life to give everything up for spiritual betterment. So you can't have householder responses. You can't think of these women as your wives or and you have to protect them. You got to let go. What happens to them is their business. What happens to you is your business. And that's a difficult thing to let go of for protectors like you and I, who were raised in a place where children or women were mistreated, and we had a righteous sense of justice that we had to fix that. So we went into law enforcement, we became security forces, we did military work, you became an investigator, and I became a terminator. Because we didn't want to see people get wounded. But the way that we keep people from getting wounded is by healing our own wounds, so that we don't perpetuate them. So what are you doing every day? Are you perpetuating your wound? Are you moving forward into more light? Tell me in the comments below.
I was listening to a really amazing breakdown of the concept of boredom. Which I'm going to link the episode since I'm talking about it, or the show or whatever it was. It's a huge video. They have like 1.5 million views, so it's not like they need no streetlights to link them, but whatever.
Extra 10 views for you, buddy.
Yeah. But it was a really interesting and fascinating breakdown of the concept of boredom and when did it arise and why does everything seem so boring now? Why are we so bored? And how do we fix that boredom? I'm not going to go too deep into why and all that other stuff. You can watch the video if you're interested in it. One thing that really fascinated me was about halfway through the video, he stops and says, hey, this is probably the most important part of the video, which really caught my ear. And I'm glad he said that, because then I started paying better attention, because I was 20 minutes into it at this point. He starts talking about how once you have lost what feels like a purpose in life and what feels like a drive forward or things that can keep your attention, you find yourself in a state of boredom. Now you have multiple pathways that you can take once you get to this state of boredom. You have the ability to try and find something that can bring you your life perspective again, or, whatever, right? You have multiple options in front of you. You can always choose what you want to do. What was fascinating was the first thing he talked about was how some people who, once they reach that state of boredom, their first immediate reaction and the most immediate way to get them back to not being bored is to turn cruel. It is the most immediate way to give you something, a life's purpose, and now you have your attention, is to turn cruel. If my purpose, because I'm bored, is to just simply make you miserable, I now have a full set of purpose, a full set of life. It's crazy. At least until I have accomplished what I think is I've made you miserable. But it's not going to just stop at you. It's going to continue on. I found that so fascinating because we live in a world now where the rise of boredom is higher than it's ever been. We have so much stimuli that's being shoved down in our faces, TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, us, this podcast, whatever. People are constantly listening to these things. They find themselves in a state of boredom because as they continue listening and adapting the things that they're hearing, they start losing a little bit of their interest in purpose and religion and interest in philosophies and music and whatever, because they've listened to 50 different YouTubers break it down a million different ways, and now they're tired of it. We live in a world where there's so much boredom that even if just 1% of the bored population decide to turn cruel, that could be millions of people.
Yeah, but don't.
Simply don't. It's just such a fascinating thing to know and understand.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that knowledge is power. I said this already. If you want to defeat your enemy, you have to know that enemy. And if you want to avoid becoming cruel, then you need to understand how you can become cruel. Sometimes it's simply a matter of being bored. But
come heal.
Please come heal. We're here to help. Come talk to us. We want to talk to you. You're the people that we want to talk to. So don't be cruel. Don't go with the first instinct. Think about what your other options are. And then do it.
If you need to live out of spite, that's okay. If you're thinking, I'm going to outlive these sons of bitches, that's okay.
That's okay. You can live out of spite.
You can live out of spite, but
don't do spiteful actions towards the living.
It won't last long because living out of spite, you're burning at both ends instead of one end. But that is a step that we take on our healing journey. Almost all of us at some point are like, I'm going to keep going because I hate that son of a bitch over there.
Yep. Yes.
And that's okay. It's valid.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But as you move forward from that space into a better space, one thing that I was cautioned about was don't pity others. Whenever I was talking to Jesse or my mom or somebody, I was like, yeah, whenever people do a bad job of like driving, instead of getting angry, I'm like, man, that's the best they can do. And when someone's,
bust a move. Thanks, Ryan.
But Jesse was like, whoa. That's diminutive. You're saying these people, everybody who upset you is less than you. Now you're no longer a student. Now you're no longer learning. And if you're not learning, you're not teaching. So it's important to persist. If you're persisting out of spite, sick. If you have gone from persisting to blooming or flourishing, or if you've moved into a different season, you can't hate people who are in different seasons. People migrate for reasons. People don't migrate for reasons. We're supposed to love our neighbor or any visitor as we love all other beings. So don't pity people who are still learning. Otherwise, you won't be able to teach them. And if you need to live out of spite, that's okay. But find your community and give Rising Tide, meet up with us, talk to Jeff Jones, some of our other funny friends, and understand that the bucket that is your life is going to be filled drop by drop with good deeds or bad deeds, but you're the one who puts the pebbles in the bucket. Free will, determinism, sure, you can have that argument if you want. However, I'm going to be walking. I'm going to be walking the path, picking up white pebbles to put in my bucket.
I thought you were going to say garden.
Because what I want to turn in at the end of the day is a full bucket, a bucket full of good deeds. Whether I did them out of spite, if I had some pity in my heart that stained those rocks, that's okay. But what I'm doing at the end of the day is turning in my bucket full of stones. I have done shit all day. Sometimes I do good stuff, sometimes I do bad stuff. But if you're not doing stuff, you're not getting more wisdom. You're not learning more. You're not on your course of mastery. You have to be conscious and show up for yourself in order to get the experience and take it forward with you. That's why I keep yelling, wake up. That's why I keep talking about dissolving this I, so we just become awake. You shouldn't be thinking, I need to wake up. Be awake. Wake up now. More light.
You're such a good Buddhist.
Fuck. Yeah. As you bleep me.
I really legitimately think if somebody out there is asking the question, how do I even get started? Sometimes it's just as simple as putting one foot in front of the next. You can't look at somebody's accomplishments and you can look at someone's accomplishments and say, I want to do that. All the work that's going to have to go from where you are at that point to accomplishing what you want to do, like that shit takes time, man. So don't let yourself be discouraged because you've realized that it's going to take you 20 years to get a Grammy if that's what your goal is. That's fine. But just at least start the first step, right? I think it's important that you move forward and don't let the amount of work discourage you and put you off from ever starting.
The way that I want to wrap this, you talked about writing, and the thing that I immediately thought of for you listening is when you're writing, say what you're doing, and then how you're feeling about it, and then what you think about that. That's how you end up gaining your knowledge and your wisdom and cultivating and filtering. What are you doing? How's that make you feel? What do you think about that? Mr. Chaz talks about the hindbrain, midbrain, forebrain, and kind of the same thing. You have to go through your survival responses, then you have to process your feelings, and then you get into your prefrontal cortex, your actual executive function. And another big thing is experiences versus expectations. I have a dear friend of mine who wanted to be an operator, did not become an operator. They have a difficult time because they had this huge expectation of who they were going to be. And I said, dear friend, I have so much joy in my heart that you never became that because of how I know it would affect you. I know how this person would react to taking a human life, and it would destroy them because they're a being of love and joy. They love training, they love loud noises and stuff. Ending a life is traumatic.
Yes.
And a lot of people think it's cool to be the deadliest guy in the room or whatever. Most of the time it's not. It's a real shitty responsibility that if something goes down, it's on me. But everyone should be moving towards that, which is kind of my closing thought with this episode here. If you want to be X, Y, or Z and you end up being A, B, or C, you can't hate yourself for that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you weren't supposed to be X, Y, or Z. And as you write down what you're doing, how you're feeling, and what you think about that, you're going to start realizing, oh, that's not what I wanted. If I lived that life, here's what it would look like. And that's not what I want.
It really makes me think about those memes that I've been seeing around a lot where people talk about their villain arc or their X, Y, and Z arc or whatever. Anyway, they're really funny. But in a way, they do have that sense of motivation, though. They talk about time's going to pass and training. I just personally find it funny that you mentioned the experience. And I'm so glad you didn't make it as an operator, dog. That character arc
Not me.
made you who it was. Yeah, no, not you. I'm just, yeah. But either way, character arc's important, man. Expectations, experience. Just do it. One foot in front of the next. And wake up.
Right, left, right. Crawl if we have to.
For those who don't know where to start, or you've stumbled upon this channel or this episode and you said, hey, I really like what these guys are doing. I want to support them. Well, you can go check us out over on YouTube, where you can subscribe to us. We are also on Apple and Spotify. We do have a Patreon. You can join as a free member. And if you do feel so inclined to support us fiscally, you can also do so. But you don't have to.
If you need help now, please call 911, or you can call or text 988 if you need someone to talk to. If you need protracted support, you can use our code over on BetterHelp. It's betterhelp.com/NSLP. It's you getting the help you deserve on your terms, and what's better than that? To mention patrons. We have 2 shout-out tiers that are currently active. The top one is manned by Nicholas Horton, Atticus Thatcher, Jason Grooms, and Eric, my boy, Spurs.
Going down to our second
Go down,
shout-out
Tim.
tier, we are going to shout out Ketria Hausner and Highland Markle. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for keeping the lights on over in the studio. And as we like to always end our show, be good to yourselves and each other.
We love you, and you're worthy of that love. Peace.
Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. No street lights, but we're finding our way. In the dark, but we've got something to say.